Hey everyone, welcome back to another FSD Beta version 10.11.2 video. This is a follow-up to the previous video and it shows the same route going the opposite direction. It's always cool to see how the car performs on the same routes. Also, I know version 10.12.1 came out and I still haven't received it yet. Hopefully I'll get it soon and can upload some videos then, but until then, hope you enjoy the video. Never want to get in a situation where the car is going to run into something, regardless of whether or not the driver is paying attention. I mean, as we try to get closer to L3, L4, L5, that's not going to be... Okay, I didn't need to hit the brakes there. That's just a personal preference. I tend to like to slow down and give a little bit more space with pedestrians. But anyway, back to my point. Once we try to get to L3, L4, L5, like, obviously, those kinds of situations need to be handled 100% of the time. To me... and the definitions of L3, L4, L5 are, like, L5 is very clear, L3 and L4 are a little more ambiguous, but, damn it. Hitting the brakes again because the car wasn't going to stop for this person and their kid. So ended up stopping in the middle of the intersection. So anyway, that's a couple of disengagements very quickly. But the first one wasn't really necessary. Anyway, L3 and L4 are basically like the car can drive in most situations. L5 means you don't need to have a steering wheel in the car. And obviously, you basically need to guarantee that the car's never going to get into an accident from its own accord. So it's going to take time, but I'm pretty confident they'll get there. And by pretty confident, like, I'm very confident at some point in my lifetime we will have cars driving themselves without steering wheels. Whether or not that's, 2025, 2026 remains to be seen. I don't even want to estimate it because I don't know enough about the space. I don't know enough about AI and machine learning and what it takes. All I do know is that it's probably going to require effectively artificial general intelligence, which means that the car not only can drive itself, but it could probably do a bunch of other tasks too. Just needs to have a very good understanding of the world and what's going on. Can't tell if those people were trying to cross the street. It looks like they were, but they were looking the other way. Like I've mentioned previously, though, the car still has a difficult time with very complicated scenarios when there are a lot of pedestrians and bikers and cars around. But I actually think we're going to go back the direction we came, so we'll get to see the opposite direction of these twisty, turny roads that I was mentioning on the way here. I'm guessing similar performance on the way back. In other words, not very good, but we shall see. And I am going to bump the speed down to 25 because 28's just a little bit too fast. Like, I would never go 28 through those twisty roads anyway, so. Alright, so here it is. 25 is probably too fast, even though technically the speed limit is 25 through this section. It's very, very narrow and windy. The car does tend to perform better on narrow roads and windy roads going uphill than downhill. I don't know if that's a vision thing. could totally also just be me making that up right now, but it feels to me like the car does perform better going uphill. Alright, car very confident. Very, very confident through that. It's good to see. It was probably a little more confident than I would be. I would take those turns a little bit slower just to be safe. We'll actually get to see that moped in just a second. Wow, the car's very confident going around that turn. I wasn't really able to see around it. I would have gone slower, but you know, it did it fine. Technically didn't do anything wrong. I do like through here, and I want to point out, okay, first of all, here's the moped that the car didn't want to go around. Alright, so much like the previous video linked in the description below, I'm pausing here to show how the car visualizes the moped you see on the left. Contrary to the last video, where the car wasn't correctly visualizing the moped, likely due to it blending into the trees, this time it's very clearly visualized. It's fascinating seeing the differences in how the car perceives the world from one drive to the next. Anyway, on with the video. But what I was saying was, I do like the discretion the car uses to drive through some of these more narrow roads. Speed limit's 25, but that doesn't mean you have to go 25. And it's doing like 19, 20 through here, which I think is really smart. I wouldn't want to go any faster than this, especially, you know, you never know, a kid, a dog, a person could come running out from behind a car, and, you know, the extra 25% speed, not really worth it, in my opinion, just for the safety of everyone around me. So this is a really weird turn. It's a very sharp left. You can't see it, but there's, it's just very sharp from both sides. The car is actually doing it. This is the first time I've ever been able to let the car just completely do that, and it did it flawlessly. Most other times there's traffic, so I tend to hit the accelerator, but that was really quite solid. Okay, no signal usage this time, which is interesting, given it's been doing that quite a bit recently in this intersection. We have some lead cars here. One's going left. Actually, no, they're all going. Okay, so the car in front of me didn't do the correct thing, but we did, which is good to see. So, you know, it's funny the times the car, you know, FSD does that correctly and when it doesn't. But when it does do it well, it's just like, wow, we're getting close. It is just super impressive with the progress they've made over the last couple of years on this. I mean, longer than that, but specifically since the beta's been out, almost 2 years now. Anyway, I'll probably end the video here. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome getting feedback and likes and comments on the videos. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.